Well, hey there, bright light, and welcome to this week's episode of Urban Shamanism with me, Steffi Funk, where I give you the sacred energy tools for an extraordinary life in the concrete jungle. And you are right now in a very special edition of Urban Shamanism. We are in part 2 of our 4-part video series, How to Call in Your Soul Family for the Joy, Abundance, and Freedom You Crave. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here so that I can walk you through part 2 of this presentation. As a reminder, last week we went through part 1. So I would highly recommend that you are watching part 1 before you watch part 2. If you're watching this on YouTube or IGTV or on my website, you can just go back to the very last episode, and that is part 1, and it's going to give you a really good baseline for why it's even important to call in your soul family. We'll go over that just a little bit today, but in the meantime, let me just back up for a quick sec in case this is the first time you've met me. My name is Steffi Funk, and I am the creator and founder of Lightworker Academy. Lightworker Academy consists of 4 courses that you can take either individually or back to back, and they're designed to help you clarify and birth your divine purpose into the world so that you can rise as the lightworker you were born to be. And we're going to talk about what a lightworker is here in just a second. My next course coming up is the Medicine Wheel Manifestation Program, and this one helps you learn to work with energy and your intuition so that you can clarify and create the extraordinary life you want, including your divine purpose. And why is divine purpose important? Because it does give you the joy, abundance, and freedom that comes from living your most authentic life and showing up that way powerfully in the world. And it typically defines your calling or the work that you were put here to do. So with that, let's talk a little bit about what is a light worker. You're going to want to make sure you identify with this before we go any further, because if you don't identify with this, we're not meant to do this together, right? This presentation isn't going to land for you. It's just not going to resonate. So I want to save your time and really honor that those who are meant to be here are here. And a light worker, first of all, if you just have resonance with that term, whether or not you know what it means, but you're like, something about that makes me feel some kind of way. Could I possibly be a light worker? I feel like I might be a light worker, even though I don't know what that means. That means, yes, you are a light worker. That's exactly what happened to me. I didn't really know what it meant, but I was like, I think I'm meant to be a light worker. And another way that you might identify with this is perhaps you've got the sense that you're meant to be a healer, or that you might be a star seed. Any of those kinds of terms, even if it's not how you're actually showing up in life right now, but you feel like you're meant to be, or there's something about that that feels really resonant, then that's a really good indication. Other qualities of a light worker: you have the desire to make a difference or have a big impact on the world. You tend to have been searching your whole life for meaning, purpose, and significance, right? You ask questions like, why am I here? What was I actually put here to do? You have a deep desire to empower, uplift, or help others or humanity or women or whomever in some way. You have like also a desire to break out of the status quo and live an authentic life on your terms. And in all likelihood, you're searching for your people. So if you're a light worker, you get to this phase in your life where you're like, where are my people? Where are the people who really get me? Where are the people who I can have these like really meaningful conversations with, or create something really extraordinary, or connect and collaborate and just feel really seen and witnessed and heard and understood and all of that. So if any of these things apply to you, you, my friend, are indeed a light worker, and this work is for you because it's going to help you work that light. So why is it important to call in your soul family, particularly if you are a light worker? Well, I tend to work with people who are successful in normal life, but they have a sense that they were meant for something more, right? So they want to move from their zone of competence into their zone of genius. They want to move from like stuck and small into extraordinary. The problem with light workers, or for light workers, is that they often feel alone, misunderstood, burnt out, stressed out, uninspired. and they want to connect with their intuition and work with energy and make a difference, but they have this thought pattern like, I have to do it all myself, nobody gets me. And so it's really hard to birth your divine purpose from that place. And so since I am here to help you birth your divine purpose, I'm here to help you call in your soul family, because when you call in your soul family, you feel all these really different ways. You feel your soul fam gives you balance, power, and belonging. Your soul fam supports you so you don't feel overwhelmed or trapped by your creations. And your soul fam helps you effortlessly clarify and birth your purpose into the world. So that's why we're here today, right? And so last episode, we did talk about why it's important to call your soul family in, what a soul contract is, why spirit gave you this support team, and how this gives you belonging, power, and balance. But again, I can't go over all that today. So go back and watch episode 1 of this 4-part series to have that context. And I do think it's really helpful to do that before we hop into today's episode. So provided you watched that, let's continue on. And you'll recognize this from our last episode. This is the 12 Pillars of Support worksheet. And these are the actual 12 support positions of your soul family. And as a reminder, spirit did give you support in each of these positions. If you don't have it today, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean you're getting punished, and it doesn't mean you don't have support meant for you. It just means that you haven't identified it, claimed it, called it in, and opened to receive it. So this worksheet is going to help us identify where you're supported and where you're not. And where you're not, then I'm going to give you practices in the next episodes to actually claim it, call it in, and receive it, so that you can be in this 13th position, which is the power position. Okay. These are organized in quadrants. We're going to go through each of the quadrants today, and I'm going to give you a definition of each quadrant and and some examples to go with each, so that you feel really empowered to feel into, okay, who is this person in my life? You do have a main player in each. You also have multiple strings in that position. So that doesn't mean you only have 12 people in your soul family. You know, each position can have 12 strings. So you could have 12 times 12 huge networks of soul family, right? Each position does have a positive and a negative pole, which we're going to work with the positive poles. All right. If someone is in the negative pole, they're not serving you in that position. We'll also work with that in the next episodes to just kind of either up level that position or clear it out so that there's space for somebody to come in that can meet you in the positive aspect. So for example, the love position in the positive pole is agape. It's like pure unconditional love. And the negative pole, it's attachment. It's needy, right? We don't need any of that. So we're going to be working with the power position or the positive positions, because that's what allows you to be in your ultimate power. And we get in trouble when we try to bypass support. When we try to do anything without proper support, we're going to feel really overwhelmed in our lives. And yes, this is downloadable. If you have not downloaded it yet, I'll give you another opportunity to do so at the end of this video. And you are going to want this so that we can complete this whole process and get you the soul family that you deserve, that you were meant to have, so that you can have that belonging, purpose, power, and balance that's meant for you. So in this lesson, you were going to learn exactly about each position of support. And I said, I'll give you examples, why they're arranged the way they are, how to know who in your life is in what position, and how to know when a position is empty and what to do about it, so that you can clarify and manifest your dream life and divine purpose with ease. So moving on. So quadrant 1, if you go back to that circle, quadrant 1 was the first 3. These are called your intimates. They're the most personal. Okay. These are very likely people in your life. And again, whether you have a person there now or not, don't worry about it. But just for now, as I'm walking you through each of these quadrants, I don't want you to do anything other than just kind of like see what occurs to you, see what comes in, see what comes up for you as I'm talking about these. And there's like, you don't have to have your worksheet out filling it in as we go. You can do that after. Just kind of like see if someone pops in your mind or not. And if they don't, that's okay too. Because remember, the whole point of this exercise, the whole point of this spiritual sacred practice that I'm giving you is to call them in. So it's totally fine. All right. So the first position is the love position. Now this is unconditional love, meaning this person like accepts you for every single thing you are, warts and all, and like you can do no wrong in this person's eyes. And this is not necessarily sexual. So it doesn't mean that this is your romantic partner. It may be, it could also be your mom or your grandmother or whoever. Okay. Then there's the compassion position. Now, this is a little different. Now, this person will tell you the truth from a place of love, and they don't co-sign on your bullshit. So, meaning they stand for you, right? And so, like, if you come to them with something and you're being whiny and victim-y, they're going to say, hey, I understand why you feel that way. And dot, 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 this is what I really see. And they're going to tell you that from a place of love, not from a place of bullying or punishment or trying to make you feel small. It's because they love you that they're going to tell you the truth, right? So I have a friend in my life that's like this, and it's almost annoying sometimes because like I'm like, dude, I just let me be in my shit for a minute, right? And she like won't let me, and she's always pushing my edges to really see things back from the higher perspective. And so maybe you have someone like that, but I know she's doing it from a place of love, right? I absolutely know it's because she cares about me that she does this. And then knowledge. Okay, this is someone where you can trust their input to be factual and accurate. So in my life, this would be like my dad, right? I can go to my dad and I can ask him very specifically, Dad, what do you think I should do for this investment? Or how should I fix my bathroom or whatever? And he's going to tell me the how-tos and the step-by-step processes. And I totally trust that he knows what he's talking about. He's just really knowledgeable. Okay, next. Quadrant 2. Now, these are your inspirationals. Okay, these 3 people remind you of the larger perspective. First, there's the child. Now, the child position is the one that brings out your own sense of responsibility and caretaking. So you'll know this person because they cry out for your attention. Now, this may actually be your own offspring. This may be another child in your life, someone else's offspring. This may be a pet. And this may also be like, for example, that adult brother that you have that just cannot get his life together and you're constantly like rescuing and saving and taking care of, right? So it can be any of those. Okay, then there's the mentor position. Now, the mentor position is accessible to you in some form of guidance in how they did it, meaning they went before you in the work that you want to do. And now they're here to say, here's how I did it. Let me show you how I did it so that you can do it too. I am the mentor position for many of my Healer Healed agreements, my clients, right? I discovered my divine purpose, which is helping you to discover and birth and live yours for the joy, abundance, and freedom that you crave. The people that I also mentor become mentors for others, where they teach them then their own Healer Healed agreements, whatever is important to them. So for example, I have a client who teaches women how to have safe, natural, at-home childbirth, right? Well, she's done it 5 times. So now she teaches other women how to do that for the, the pleasure and the power that comes from birthing naturally. So that is what the mentor position is. It's really usually related to a very specific life task or work type thing. If you sign up for courses and things like that, like a person teaching that course would be a mentor because they're telling you how to do like a specific life task or work task principle in your world. Okay, and then finally, beauty. The person in your position of beauty reminds you of what is already perfect in life and gives you gratitude for what is. Okay, so this could be a person where every time when you go to them, they're just able to sort of just like bring you back to what's really important and what's meaningful, and it allows you to see like the beauty in the situation. Oh, it's for you, it's not to you. But also this could be a place, like a place you go where when you go there, or a work of art and you see it, so you go to this place and it's so beautiful and you're connected with nature and you just sort of like, oh, I remember what's really important, right? Everything is perfect the way it is. And And it allows you to see the blessing in life and the beauty in life just as it is. Okay. So quadrant 3, these are called your life classmates. So these are those who walk through your life lessons right there with you. Okay, so first there's the humor position. This one obviously makes you laugh or reminds you not to take life so damn seriously. And oftentimes this could be a famous person or a comedian that you love to watch. Every time you watch them, you just laugh and you just like let off some steam and just have some fun, right? And then there's the anchor person. Now, the anchor person is that person where, you know, you have that friend where you don't talk for like years, but then every time you talk, it's like nothing changed. You're right back in it. You feel loved and heard and seen and understood. And yeah, time and space is just not a challenging factor in your relationship. And they feel really grounding. They're someone that you can always come home to realign. For me, my best friend who I've known since kindergarten is my anchor position. And then, you know, for many people, this will be like your mom, right? You can always come home and it's like, you know, just, I can come back to myself and get resource and then go back out in the world again. And then there's the discipline position. Now, the discipline position reminds you of your stated intentions and goals and keeps you awake to your intentions and goals. So this person, for example, would be like an accountability partner, a life coach, a personal trainer, a yoga teacher. And this could also, for example, be like a practice that you have. Maybe you go for a run every day, right? And it teaches you things in life about how to be when you power through your run. Or you do your yoga practice every day, and yoga in and of itself teaches you about life lessons around breathing through the resistance or whatever, right? So it could be a person or it could even be a practice. And then quadrant 4, this is your spiritual quadrant. These are the people who help you remember who you are as spirit. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. These are those people that help you remember you are that spiritual being. So first we've got the healer spot, and this is anyone who repairs, mends, or processes the deeper effects of an experience for you and with you. This can be a healer on the physical, emotional, intellectual, or spiritual realm for your pains or diseases. You know, even when it's physical, it's actually energetic, right? But so even if you have a dis-ease in the physical, there's an energetic component to it. But just know that your healer is someone that helps you heal, whether it's mind, body, or spirit. And so this could be like your naturopath, or this could be your shamanic healer. This could be your Reiki practitioner, someone you just always, you know can like help you process or integrate or feel better in that way. Enlightenment. Okay, so this is a little bit more esoteric, so stick with me here. But the enlightenment position gives structure to your belief system. It's like a path that allows you to make sense of the bigger picture. Okay, so for example, I work with the Michael teachings, which is, if you guys saw video 1, which I hope you did, or you're going to go back and see it, this whole teaching is loosely based on the Michael teachings around the 12 pillars of support. It's adapted from that. And so the Michael teachings is a whole framework of how our souls exist in the universe and transcend and ascend and grow and learn. And so that for me is my enlightenment position, the Michael teachings, and the entity that is channeled that brings that knowledge here is my enlightenment position. So Michael is my enlightenment position. For you, it could be whoever teaches you Buddhism or yoga, your yoga, methodology in terms of yoga as life, or any like spirituality that allows you to make sense of everything. The person who teaches you that is your enlightenment position. The person who really helps you understand that is your enlightenment position. And then finally, we have the muse. Okay, so the muse is the embodiment of the ideal that drives your life mission. So The way you identify your muse is first identify the value that means the most to you. For me, it's freedom. For someone else, it might be purpose or love or growth or whatever it is. Like, you just determine what's that one value that is like what you're about, whether you know how to do it or not. It's just like, it's sort of this driving muse in your life. So freedom is my muse. I do everything on the basis of freedom. When I make a decision or choice in my life, I'm like, is this going to give me more freedom or less freedom? So freedom is my muse. Now, for some people, there is a human that is the embodiment of that value. So, for example, maybe Tim Ferriss of the 4-Hour Work Week might be the embodiment of freedom. Or if love is your muse, maybe it's the Dalai Lama, right? So this is like the embodiment of the value or the ideal that drives your life mission. So if you can't think of the person who really represents it for you, then just write down whatever that value is. So again, freedom, love, whatever. Or if you can think of the person that defines that for you, it could be power, and maybe like Madonna is your muse, right? So and it doesn't have to be a famous person either. It could be someone you absolutely know in your life. Okay. So now that you've heard what all the actual positions are, and you remember that you are indeed meant and designed to have all these 12 positions filled so that you can live a life of extraordinary power, I want to give you some tips. Because in a minute, I'm going to have you, if you haven't already, download this worksheet and start to fill it out. And it's really important you remember these things. One, don't force anyone into a position. Okay. If you can't think of anything, just leave it blank. This is the whole point of why we're doing this work. So you can call them in. The first time I did this, I only had 6 positions filled in. So I will teach you how to identify it, call it in, and receive it so that you do ultimately have all 12 positions filled. Just know that you're meant to, but if you don't, that's okay. That's why we're doing this. Remember, it's usually a person that you know. However, the position can also be a place, a practice like yoga, a pet, a personality, meaning a famous person, or a previous person. And by this, I mean, for example, perhaps it's your deceased grandmother who really represented something for you in life. She passed away, but now she still is with you in that area. You can kind of hear her words and what she would say to you around something. And she's still very present for you as that aspect. It can also be that. Careful of having one person in more than 2 positions. Okay, we're not designed to have one person fill 6 or 12 of our positions. This can put us in a lot of the negative pulls in positions when we try to make one person be all the things to us. Okay, one person really should be in one position, maybe 2. And what happens when we try to make one person be everything is we get in some serious power struggles. So just keep that in mind, especially related to like spouses and parents and that kind of thing. And just contemplate it. So have a crack at it now, but just know that more will come to you throughout the week as you're showering or walking or driving. And for now, we're just opening to the awareness of this whole concept. Isn't this incredible to know that you do have soul family and you do have 12 positions of support in the energetic? And now it's just about learning to identify what's missing, claim it, call it in, and open to receive it. It's pretty awesome. This is like a whole new world, right? And this is meant for you. So just, allow it to unfold instead of forcing it. All right, so now that you learned why it's important in part 1 last week, and you learned more about each position today in part 2, next you're going to learn what to do for the positions that are filled in and not filled in, and rituals to energetically call in your soul family. So that's coming up next week. In the meantime, remember, this isn't homework, it's soul work. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed by this or make it a have to. This is fun. It makes all the difference. It's going to give you tremendous power, belonging, support, and balance. Have fun with this. You've got this. Just give it a shot. Take the next inspired action. Don't overthink it. And remember, don't try to create anything in life without awareness of these 12 pillars, or you will struggle, feel trapped by your creations, and be stuck in obsession and confusion instead of clarity. It is universal law. So that's why you want to do this work. Do it. It's fun and it totally makes life so much easier. So take action now. If you have not already, this is your weekly inner shaman practice. You're going to want to download and print your copy of the 12 pillars of support. You're going to gently pencil in your support positions. You're not going to force, right? So just based on what I just shared with you about what each of the positions are, just see what comes through for you and just gently write them in. Make sure it's erasable, or just know you can always cross it out later. No one's going to see this. This is just your process. And most really important is to notice what's coming up for you. Are you feeling resistance around this process, this practice, this exercise? If so, that resistance is exactly why you don't have the 12 positions filled in. It's information. It's good for you to know. Be neutral to it. You're not doing anything wrong. Just observe it. Observe what's coming up for you. What is the resistance? I don't believe this will work. I'm not meant to have soul support. I'm not doing it right. I'm not getting this perfect. Whatever that is, notice it, maybe even write it down, because that's part of why these 12 positions aren't filled. There's a blockage there that is some sort of limiting belief that's preventing you from having all the support that's meant for you. So notice it and don't worry too much about it, because we'll be working with this energetically later, but just do the work. And then be grateful for the support that you have. So for example, when you fill in a position and you do have someone in that spot, great, like awesome. You can just do a little thank you to the universe. Thank you for, how supported I am. And where you don't have anybody to put in a spot, celebrate that too, because that means that there's opportunity for improvement, right? That means that, like, oh my God, no wonder life has been so hard. And now there's actually something you can do about it. Isn't that awesome to know that? And so just be open to the support that's coming. Celebrate. It's an open spot. There's space for something to come in there that really gives you power. So final moments, download this worksheet at steffyfunk.com/soulfam. Make sure you spell my name correctly. If you're watching this on IGTV or on my website, you're going to find this link either below the video or above in my bio. And then finally, we're going to just summarize here that in this lesson you learned about each position of support, why they're arranged the way they are in those quadrants, how to know who is in what position, gave you all the definitions, and how to know when a position is empty and what to do about it so you can clarify and manifest your dream life with ease. And what do you do if it's empty? It just means that nobody's coming to mind. You leave it alone, let it go, bless it, know that we're going to work with that in the next weeks. So with that, in the next lesson, you will learn what to actually do with your worksheet and rituals for calling in your soul family. So to the next lesson, you're just going to want to bring your worksheet filled out as best you can, no attachment to anything having to be perfect, just having looked at it, taken a stab, and then we're going to identify, okay, now that you know where you've got people and where you don't, what do you do to call in all of your soul family and the support that is meant for you in this lifetime for the belonging, power, and balance that is meant for you. So with that, I hope you have a fabulous week, and I look forward to seeing you next week, next Tuesday, with the final installments of the rituals for calling in your soul family. Until then, I hope you have a fabulous week. And one final thing is, if you have any questions, please comment below. It's common to have questions come up. Let me know what's coming up for you. Yeah, but what if? All of those things, I'm here for it. Comment below and I'll make sure I get to it either personally, or I can always do a live Q&A if a bunch of questions come in, and I'll keep you posted as to when I'll be doing that as well. So with that, I shall see you very soon. Take care.